Hello and welcome back. Today we have a fever, and the only remedy is forming the Holy Roman Empire, so that's what we're going to do. As you may have noticed, we are playing in the Divergences mod here for Victoria 3. This is a multiplayer balance mod that, roughly speaking, creates a somewhat level balance between all countries. If you see us sort by GDP, it's relatively flat compared to vanilla. There's also like an alternate history that's been kind of made up around the entire Divergences thing. Really cool mod. But the main thing to see here is we can form the Holy Roman Empire here as Bohemia, and this is what we will be doing a walkthrough for, kind of doing all the starting steps. Now, first off, to talk about it, we are going to be doing this really diplomatically. What we need to do is we need to get finish the centralizing Europe entry here, which will allow us to launch diplomatic plays to form the HRE. Before that, diplomatic plays will be locked because we cannot become a, what is it called? Here, let's jump in here. We cannot become a unification candidate until we finish centralizing the empire. What this requires is us to pull all of Scandinavia and Burgundy out of all of the culture groups that are HRE culture groups. So that's Albion, Rhinish, and it's mainly Albion and Rhinish. Now, if we take a look at this map mode, we will see that Burgundy has a whole bunch of subjects in the HRE, as does Scandinavia. So what we have to do is we have to get all of those subjects onto our side. Once we do that, we will be able to do a unification play, which will involve us taking a little bit of Burgundian dirt or Scandinavian dirt, but we're going to take the Scandinavian dirt earlier anyways, or at least that is the plan. So we have to be really focused on diplomacy throughout this entire run, because what we're going to do is we're going to look to swap over all these subjects diplomatically, not militarily. If we were to do it militarily, like let's find someone who doesn't have good relations with us. I said let's find someone who doesn't have good enough relations with us. Okay, so Nassau doesn't have super good relations with us, so we can declare war on them. Whenever you declare war, you get a certain amount of infamy. Half of that value is also given in negative relations to everyone who has an interest in that strategic region. So, for example, if we dominion Nassau, we may be getting them out from underneath Burgundy, but at this very same time, we would be making Thuringia or anyone else have negative relations with us. We have to crank up relations as much as possible, and so because of that, we will not be declaring any wars in here other than a war at the very start against Scandinavia. Sorry, Scandi. So what we will be doing is we have declared an additional rivalry on Aragon. We start with Burgundy, Scandinavia, and now we have a ton of influence points. We're going to improve relations with nearly everyone. Now, first of all, we're going to improve relations with the dual monarchy. We might not keep this in for very long, but it would be nice to have their help on the first war. Then we are going to start with kind of the ones that are on the outside border with Burgundy, and we are going to improve relations with all of them. We are also going to, at the very start, see if anyone is willing to join our customs union or change to our customs union. We see that we can do Brunswick. We will make sure that we wait for Brunswick to join before we declare our war, because the war against Scandinavia, we will get negative relations with them, and so, we will accrue infamy, so we will get minus relations with Brunswick. So if we're just on the cusp of getting Brunswick to join, it might break it. So we're going to wait. So we're going to do this, and then now we are also going to bankroll everyone who is, again, bordering this little Burgundy adjacent. The reason we are doing this is it is going to severely hurt the countries that are interior, that are part of Burgundy's market, if they lose access. And we want this because if they are hurt, they are more likely to kind of come on over to our side. So we are going to do all of this with all of these border states here. And also we are going to look at both Austria and Bavaria to see if either of them are like cautious or wary. So they're disinterested, but they're wary. So we will bankroll them as well here. Actually, yeah, we'll bankroll them as well. And now we see that, well, actually, no, we don't want to bankroll them. That's going to get expensive. Let's pull back a couple of these bankrolls, because this has cost a little bit more than... actually, you know, this is fine, but we do want a little bit more juice, so we will rival Spain as well, and then we will come and find improved relations, And we are improving relations and bankrolling all these guys, so we'll gain relations very, very quickly with them. And so we will also look to gain relations with a few of these other boyos and just put it in like that. And that's kind of the Diplo situation sorted out. For our authority, we are going to be starting a really big war at the start of the game, and so we are going to need more military. So we're going to come in decrees, and we're going to put enlistment efforts down. Now, whenever you're putting down enlistment efforts, what it will do is, if we take a look in here, in professional army, we will see that we have 1% conscription rate here in professional army. So this means however much conscripts we get, this 1% conscription rate is giving it to us. When we look in development and we look at the conscription centers, we will see we have 8 in Moravia, 8 in Silesia, 8 in Saxony. 8 is a very important number because that ensures you get the absolute most from the enlistment efforts edict, because this will give you 5% conscription rate. So it's effectively 6x's whatever this is. So if we put it down in Moravia, it will go from 8 to 48, because it is giving an additional 5%. 5 times 8, 40, plus the initial 8. So this is what 6% conscription will give you. And so it is important whenever you use this edict, you use it in ones that are around 7 or 8. If we used it in Bohemia, for example, it would be overkill. It would only give us 36 extra battalions. We're going to be using this to win a war against Scandinavia, and almost certainly Burgundy will join. So we're just going to put it in now, and we're going to put it in Moravia, and we're going to put it in Saxony. Now, as far as the rest of our authority goes, we are going to encourage road maintenance in Silesia. We're going to build in Silesia initially, and we're going to encourage resource industry there and manufacturing. The rest of our authority we're going to put in on consumption taxes, and we are going to tax liquor. Now, normally we would not tax liquor because this taxes low-rung pops, but this war is going to be really expensive. You see, we have half of our potential reserve in reserve. This is not going to cut it, so we are going to crank up the money because this is going to get really expensive. We're going to make sure to have high military wages because we're going to be rumbling very, very, very early on here, and that is kind of how we are spending the authority at the start of the game. Now, as far as law passing and this sort of stuff, we have to pass specialty laws, because centralizing the empire, the event chain that we need to do, requires that we have state religion, racial segregation, and autocracy. So, on this front, we are going to go with some of these. I think we are going to start with racial segregation, just in case this boyo dies, unless this guy has a special thing that says he can't die or something like this. No, he does not. Also, this infamy generation is annoying. But since this guy doesn't have a specialty thing, this guy doesn't have a special thing that makes it impossible for him to die, which this mod has on some characters. I think this guy has, like, important plus 100, or plus 1,000,000% character health. So, because we don't have that on anyone here, we are going to try and pass racial segregation first, because the Bohemian aristocracy will always support going, autocracy, which we need to do. But I don't think they always support racial segregation. I would have to double check, I suppose, because they might be unique. Yeah, hegemonists. Yeah, so they normally are national supremacy rather than racial segregation. So we're going to get in the racial segregation while we can, because the Kaiserist ideology guy does support it. So we're going to go with that one first. Also, we are going to research some stuff. A water tube boiler is extremely strong, but later, after water tube boiler, we will have to get nationalism in order to do the unification chain. It's not super important that we get it right now, so we're just going to leave it be for now, but we are probably going to go water tube boiler into mechanized workshops. Mechanized workshops is an insane tech, so is water tube boiler, and then after those are researched, we're probably going to go nationalism here. That's kind of the plan for the future here. Now, as far as the early construction goes, remember, we are encouraging road maintenance in Silesia specifically. We also have railroads, so we can afford to build tall, and Silesia is an excellent resource state. You have the coal mines throughput modifier. There's a lot of pops there. You see we have 500,000 peasants, and so what we're going to do is we're going to slap down 5 construction centers. And then after we have those 5 construction centers, then we're going to start working on the iron mines. Now, the auto queue is almost certainly going to build ammunition as soon as we start mobilizing, so we'll also put ammunition in here and put it on auto expand, and just kind of hope that the auto queue prefers to build the ammunition in Bohemia, but this is kind of more of a small thing, as it were, here. And so we are getting close to being ready to unpause here. There's one more thing. Okay, so the last thing we want to do before unpausing is check out all of our PMs and make sure they're where we want. We want to be using sweeteners here. There's a lot of PMs we would want to swap, but we can't swap. So for example, dye workshops, we actually have to swap this back because we cannot have access to dyes. We're currently landlocked when we fight Scandinavia. We're going to lose access to the trade route that we have for them or towards them for dyes, which is why we're going to stay on non-luxury clothing. We are going to stay glass production there. Again, can't do dyes at all. And then we are just going to scroll down and make sure, normally on most runs, we would go to free churches on all these. Not here, not today, because we do need to pass state religion in order to form the HRE, because it's the Holy Roman Empire, and so we will be going without that. But we will want to turn on the urban centers. We will want to start turning on these at some point. We're going to turn them on a little bit at a time. We're just going to start with one. We're going to put in the harvesting tools. We do want to encourage the creation of tools. I think we're just going to stay on intensive grazing, although oftentimes we might swap back to simple ranch. That way we can do more boom booms, more better. And this will be kind of our current starting situation. We don't have any, we don't have any fisheries to swap. And so we are about ready to go here. So we're going to take an unpause, wait to see if we get an acceptance on the thing, and looks like we got some sort of event or someone was happy. Catholic Church Divine Right is activated, so that'll do it. Not sure why it repaused. So this will allow us to put in another one of these. So we're going to put in another one here. And then we're going to double check and see if anyone will join our market before we look to start our war. And then we will be off and away into Scandinavia. So, very importantly, we can do this Imperial Authority Edict, which will swap all of their subjects over to us, but it guarantees that we have to fight Burgundy as well as Scotland and a few others. We would rather just take a little bit of an easier war and diplomatically incorporate the Scandinavian subjects. There aren't a whole lot of them. It's not too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to declare a war here on Courland, and we're just going to liberate subject them. Actually, you know what? I think it'd be better for us to liberate him. Oh, no, wait. We can't liberate these boyos. How about these boyos? So, nope. We can only conquer state. Okay, just kidding. We are going to liberate Courland here. So we're going to do this, and now you see it's only Scandinavia. Now, it is almost certain that Burgundy will join, and so we'll see how that shakes out. But the other things we are going to be taking is we are going to be returning both the states that are rightfully ours. This is our dirt. And then we will, after this, be also going for war reparations, the Scandinavian war reps, and we will be saving the rest of the maneuvers. If Burgundy joins, we're not going to put it in on anything in on them, because they will mobilize less troops if we do it like this, and we do not want to fight full Burgundy and full Scandinavia. Burgundy is the strongest at the very start of the game. They have like around 200 battalions with a full mobilization. We, with a full mobilization, we have more though, and the reason we have more is because these two edicts that we put down at the very start. So we see Burgundy has, of course, joined on the enemy side, which we were expecting, but we can actually sway dual monarchy, which is not always the case, the dual, France plus England combo, and we will offer transfer subject, and transfer Scotland is going to be what we offer. We don't want to put war goals in on Burgundy in our offer. We don't really want to give an obligation, and so we're going to offer transfer subject Scotland. We don't really care. We also will be getting an interest, renewing our interest in Scandinavia. Once we have this interest in Scandinavia, which is going to be big nice, we will have a kind of a little bit of extra maneuvers. Will we have enough to liberate? No, we don't have enough to liberate. And I don't think we want to... Now, we could go for war reps on Burgundy here, actually, as a result of this situation being a little bit different because dual monarchy is now with us, and we could look to enforce on Scandinavia first. I think I like this idea. I think it's going to be more expensive, and I think we're going to need one more conscription edict. So what we're going to do is we are going to put war reps in on Burgundy. And then we are going to come in here, we're going to increase this one notch, we're going to get rid of one of these consumption taxes, and we are going to put down a decree for enlistment efforts here in Silesia, which also has a conscription rate of 8, and then we will make sure to lower the taxes. Now, we are going to probably even lower it another notch. I know it doesn't look like we're hemorrhaging a lot of money yet, but trust me, we're about to hemorrhage a ton of money as soon as all these conscripts come on up, but then we will have an enormous military, and we are going to look to enforce on them quite quickly. We're going to designate their capital as the strategic objective so we can try and rush it, and then once we have it, kind of come to the aid of dual monarchy, who, though it looks good for them, at least right now, they will likely get clapped in that 1v1. Now, let's see if there's anything else useful. We can go after just war reps on those guys, but we don't want to get stuck in a war with them for any while longer. It's not really worth that war reps, so I think this is going to be our war. Which is us trying to get war reps from both of these boyos, transfer Scotland to the dual monarchy. We would have released Sweden if dual monarchy was not able to be swayed, and also not put in war reps on Burgundy. That way they send fewer troops, but as it stands, pretty happy with the way things have shaken out on this first war. So a little bit of a lapse of judgment, but we actually activated the conscripts really late, which is not ideal, but you can see we're minus 50k, and the conscripts are barely raised, and now it's like just jumping up and up and up and up and up, or it will be 57, you know, it's going to go to 60, 65. It's going to be an absolutely huge drag on our economy. Now what we are going to do is, like, once we're enforcing on Scandinavia, once we're occupying their capital, we will take away some of these edicts that we have down, and this will instantly demobilize a ton of the conscripts. Look at this, 80k, barely affordable, and by barely affordable, I mean not really that affordable, but we just want to push through kind of as quickly as possible, get to them, because we need this dirt in order to really make progress anywhere else. We have to do this fight, and this will also allow us to get the war reps on Burgundy as well. They are not going to be able to enforce on us to transfer Mecklenburg and humiliate us unless they take our dirt, and they can't take our dirt. Look how quickly we are just cutting through these guys. So we're going to actually take a pause here, and we're going to drop one of these decrees. We're going to drop it in Silesia because that's where we need the most employment, and then we'll come back here, we will up this temporarily, and we will put in a tax on furniture, and now this should adjust in a way that's a little bit better. As you can see, yeah, it drops down 20k. You know, we do have a nice split. We recruited an extra general at the start here, and we are now enforcing on them faster than they're enforcing on us. They're more scared of us than we are of them, and we get racial segregation. Big nice. You love to hear it. You love to say it. You actually hate saying it as someone growing up in the United States, but we're going to pretend like we love it. Certainly it's better than ethno-state, so there's that. Progress of a kind. Man, sounds extra American. So, I think we're going to go to autocracy next, look to juice up the Bohemian aristocracy, because they are going to be helping with our stuff. We will also be constantly, and by constantly I mean like as constantly as constant can constant, we will be checking this, and we will be attempting to move people over. Now, see, we have swapped over Baden and Lüneburg here. And so we actually need to go in manually, and what we are going to do with these boyos is we are going to stop improving relations, stop bankrolling, and we are going to, with Lüneburg, I think we are only improving relations. We are going to stop, because they are in our customs union, and we really want, you know, to be able to kind of go after people faster. So we're going to do, I think Brunswick is also already in, and so we're going to improve relations with Austria. Now, Bavaria is already amicable. So we're just going to improve relations with some of these boyos that are not in the customs union, and then I think we're going to take the rivalry off of someone. So we're going to take a look at who is with Burgundy. So Burgundy, whose guts do you hate? You hate our guts, and okay, well, that doesn't help out too much. So I think we're going to drop the rivalry on so we can drop the rivalry on Aragon here to refund. some of this, so let's do that. And let's rival the kebab instead, and let's drop this on Spain. And as you can see, we have a ton of negative influence, but this really doesn't have too big a negative effect. We can rival... Maybe we do need to rival one of these guys. We'll rival Spain, and maybe we rival Poland. We need to be floating a little bit extra so we can convince people to join our customs union. And Poland's relatively innocuous, although we would want to pull them in our customs union long term. Let's go for the big boy play then. Or wait, we can do Venice. Now, Venice we maybe want to pull in, so let's keep it like this. With this extra floating, we can change people or invite people in, but just kind of looking at how this war is shaking out, we are rolling them now, and once we annex these guys, then we will be able to move our other guys to the front, and so, or annex, we're not going to annex all of them, we're just going to get Pomerania and Mecklenburg back, but then we will be able to have access to the seafarers that we are. Bohemian, everyone knows Bohemians were the real seafarers. Once we enforce, then we will be able to get in on Burgundy. We are getting a little bit close to default, and this is a little bit spooky. Just having a thought here, so we aren't currently doing any of this. I think we do want to put, I think we just want to get these iron mines up kind of as quickly as possible to a really high level. But this is a cause for a little bit of concern. So what we're going to do is we're going to come on a decree, and we are going to drop one of these enlistment efforts, edicts. And then we are going to come on up. We can't put in another consumption tax, but this will put us in okay shape. We're going to do middling government wages, which won't help us too much. Now, we are still conscripting up at this point, so the conscripts will continue to get more expensive, but we are about to enforce here on Scandi. Now, let's see what exactly... They want to revoke claim on Pomerania. It's important that they have this in, otherwise it would probably be hard to get war reps. Because they do, it's going to be pretty easy to get war reps, because they will not be able to enforce us below 0. So now we just move everyone on over. Our guys auto moved over, and they will be able to crush Burgundy here. But, us with the dual monarchy, we don't need this extra juice, so what we're going to do, they already got Scotland, hopefully they stick in it, but what we're going to do is we're going to drop this other enlistment efforts decree. We don't want to pay for this many conscripts, and we are going to get to put in a consumption tax, and now, you know, this is starting to get to a much more manageable level. Why are we decaying? Don't they have a war goal in on us? Was that not one of theirs? Well, we do want war reps off them, so we're going to see if... We don't want it to be all for naught. This guy probably is what we want. I mean, authoritarian's going to be nice because we are going that direction anyways. Reformer's going to be nice because we are confused. And crime, screaming, and throwing up. And we're going to try and get a couple landings in on Flanders. We do have to control some of their dirt in order to enforce on them. But this is unfortunate that, you know, we already have all these casualties, and we almost certainly aren't going to get this, but we're going to try anyways. We're enforcing at -6 a tick, so it's very unlikely that we can kind of do this, but they're kind of over this war. So maybe if we get some of their dirt, they'd be willing. We will get some of this, and of course we will always be checking customs union this. So now we are in a place we can get Switzerland in. So now that we can get Switzerland in, we take off the bankroll. We stop the bankroll, we stop improving relations. So this refunds a bunch, and then this is kind of the critical point, or the first one we have seen of this. We can change someone by giving them, you know, a obligation. Normally you don't really want to give an obligation, but considering we're going to annex these guys in a few years anyways, no problem. Oldenburg, give an obligation to them as well, so we have to kind of keep in mind it's Oldenburg and this guy. We do want to stop bankrolling them because we don't want to pay them for forever. Munster, stop bankrolling, and then we're going to take a look at the last one, and we are going to change to our customs unit. Onsbrook, where are you? You are in the Burgundian market. Is this here? Okay. We're not bankrolling them. We're not improving relations. Fine. We're going to owe them an obligation and bring them into the fold as well. This will ease the money a little bit. And we are in, baby. We're in on the capital. Now they can be decayed below 0. Now they are getting decayed Courland gets enforced on, but are they getting decayed at it fast enough? That's an occupation. That's an occupation. I think we will move all of our boyos over to there, because we don't really care about reclaiming the dual monarchy land. We would rather be pushing the other land, but okay, well, with dual monarchy out, it's very unlikely. Man, cowards have left us to our own devices after we got them a vassal state in Scotland. Terrible. I don't think we're going to be able to enforce this unless they dramatically change their attitude on this as a result of something. They want white peace. I really hate how you cannot send in a war kind of request, end request. Yeah, we just don't have enough convoys to make this work, actually. And they're not that close. But I hate that we can't... Okay. We're further away. So we're just going to take the white peace now. Well, before we get enforced on, I suppose. And then we will be set down, and we will need to put some stuff in and change some stuff around. But now the economy will be recovering, and we will be finding places overseas that we can expand. So for our expansion spot, we have decided to go after Zhang 2. The main reason why is this has a specialty building in this mod called the Yungang Port, which gives 2,500 minting, which at our current level of, you know, what is it, gold mine we can have. It's roughly the equivalent of 5 gold mines for us with our current tech. And we have seen Scandinavia joins against us, which normally would be big annoying, but we actually made a mistake in the opening salvo. We needed to release Holstein, and we didn't release Holstein. So now we get to release Holstein, but we're going to have to fight another fight. So we're going to liberate Holstein, and of course we are going to go for war reparations as well. And we are probably going to look to liberate another country, but we currently don't have an interest in Scandi. So what we will do is we will take this interest and we will move it on over for when we get kind of a little bit more mobilized. We also have invited a few boyos over. We do have to make sure that Hesse Darmont is offering us an obligation. So we're going to find this guy. Go to details screen. They are in our customs union, so we're just going to decline. We do not want to lock up our stuff, but as you can see, we've already gotten all of the border states that we improved relations with and started bankrolling from the very outset, because we can make a very large difference between, or almost all of them. I guess we don't have all of them. Let's just double check that we are bankrolling them. One of them I think we actually aren't. Yeah, it's this little boyo. This little piggy went to the market, and this little piggy improved relations. Okay, so we are waiting in order to get our... We also can't sway because they have a truce. Yuck. But we can actually dominion this guy now. Normally these guys back down, or they have in both the attempts, but they won't back down now because Scandinavia is helping them out. And this wouldn't actually be too bad a dominion. Let's see how much... It is going to be a lot of infamy, though. Or can we not put it in? Oh, we moved we moved our interest. Okay, that's fine. We will just look to liberate Sweden instead, so this should be fine. And then liberate country. I guess we can liberate Norway as well. We can't liberate Denmark, unfortunately. We could liberate Latvia. I suppose humiliation might be a little bit more useful, so they can't join against us in any more plays, because we don't want any fingers in our pie. And then maybe we liberate... Nah, this is fine. Or actually, we could transfer Baroda. Baroda is not bad. That is that state right there, which is not Sind in vanilla. So I think we're going to go with this, and we're going to give these guys a quick clapping as they deserve. So, regarding trade and manufacturing, we have put in all the luxury manufacturing goods, swapped them up, the stuff that requires silk, dyes, all this, and now we got a bunch of things coming in. What we will be doing with that is we did a bunch of trade routes to also kind of facilitate this, so we wouldn't be running shortages. We will take a trade agreement with the dual monarchy, more than happy. We see Austria going for a defensive pact. Now, if we can't get them in the market right now, we probably will say yes, because this will give us positive ticking relations, but we can invite them to the customs union now, owing them an obligation, and so we will do that instead, and we will say no to the customs union. We will also just kind of quickly glance through. We can get Nassau here, so we're going to click on their name, click join, or we're not even bankrolling them, but we can stop improving relations if we want here, and we are going to look, can we get anyone into the customs union a little bit all natural? No, we cannot. We can't change, we can change Bremen, so let's change Bremen. Same idea, we are going to owe them an obligation, and then we are going to stop bankrolling if we were, but we weren't, so we can't. And then Grey League, we are going to do the same thing, change to the customs union, owe them an obligation, and the customs union is just growing. Now this war is a little bit annoying because we don't have a lot of boats, so we will put a few more boats in the back of the queue, and then also what we will do is we will try and make sure that we are building a few ports as well, because we will need these ports. This is not ideal that we are getting pushed back here, and let's just take a look. Can we defend? So if we get pushed back, the problem if we get pushed back is we can get enforced on pretty easily because they only have war reps in on us, so they don't need the capital. And so just need to take a little bit of a think here. Just got to be a little bit cautious. I think what we're going to do is we are going to land their capital here and just look to enforce on Scandinavia first and then enforce on the other guy. We don't really need to finish this war as fast as possible. We just are going to do it a little bit more securely. Austria wants a defensive pact and they're using the obligation. Sure, fine, you got us. I think we'll promote one of these boyos to give them a little bit more strong on the front. We're just going to kind of look through, well, maybe we'll recruit another, well, no one's got, kind of don't like, well, I guess we kind of, yeah, market liberal's fine, actually. Market liberal's super fine. Let's promote this guy a couple times. That way, the power is a little bit more concentrated here, and hopefully we don't get pushed back. It's a little bit uncomfortable because we're about to get pushed here. But this landing is also going to come in and start splitting their fronts up. You know what I mean? So we pass autocracy, which leaves only one. We are absolutely flying in terms of these reforms, but we do have to do the Catholic Church. We're going to put them in, and we are going to go for... Wait, why can't we do state religion? What's going on? What's going on? Okay, just a little bit of a weird UI thing. We are going to go state religion. Now, we are barely, if I recall correctly, we're barely below 50 legitimacy. So what we're going to do is we're going to wind down the taxes a little bit, even though it's going to be uncomfortable, and that will help out. Also, we do have a little bit of extra authority. We're going to use road maintenance in Bohemia because we are going to start constructing a lot more manufactories here, and so this will help out, and so we will be juicing out the tooling workshops. Now, another thing to note, we didn't do this at the beginning, but we probably should have. We're going to delete the unis that are not in the capital because we are kind of looking for a little bit of extra money, and this will help out a little bit on that front. Speaking of fronts, we are clobbering them, and it doesn't look like, it looks like we're going to get an enforcement on Scandinavia. We do have to be cautious, though, because we can't let them take any of our dirt, but it looks like this front's pretty well fortified, and I think Scandinavia is pretty close to capitulation, so, you know, this is kind of we'll be pretty home free once this war finishes up, though, in terms of all the wars we need to do, because the final war will be very, very, very easy, because we will have so much power in it. And we enforce on Scandinavia here. Now, another problem is going to be landing these boyos. We're probably going to need to triple land, and we have exactly 3 boats, so let's hope that we can actually do this and get in on them. Now, we do have, we're going to recruit the market liberal boyo. We do have some war goals. We want the war reparations, so we are going to look to land their capital instead of landing here. If we didn't have the war reps in, we could just do that, but we're going to see which one of these is a capital state, because I don't have all the capital states memorized. All right, it's there, and so we're just going to triple land with our smallest boyos, because we are going to run negative convoys in a pretty significant way, and so we're just going to do all the smallest boyos. And now we will use the feature where you can now demobilize generals, and we will do that because why did that cost us more money? Wait, what the hell? We were making more money and now we're making less. Is this an unpause thing? All right, I guess we just unpause. And we are just absolutely flying on the reforms. We're going to get, this is the fastest. I've done this twice already, both times successfully. And this is the fastest these have been going in terms of the laws. So we are actually going to get to pass some laws ourselves, but we're going to look to get this landing in here. So we got an enforcement on, not the full enforcement, but we did get the state, which is what we wanted more than anything. So now we're getting a ton of money from minting. I got ahead of myself in terms of what I was talking about there. But we are going to, you know, now have a bunch of minting. This shortage is decreasing the minting, but this is going to be good for us here. Now, we almost have everyone in, which is kind of record pace, but Bavaria is likely to be a holdout, so what we want to do in order to encourage them to be more friendly with us, more friendly than friendly, is look into their market and look into their soul and see what they need and export the stuff to them. So we see all the luxury goods plus paper and chairs, and so what we will do is we will come in here and we will go chairs. You can have your chairs. We do not care if it's not really that profitable. It's not that big a deal to us if it's not super profitable. We will just look to export all these things to them because we're looking to increase the volume of trade with them, and I think Papel as well. And then we will see what they have cheap, and we will look to import it. So we are going to import hardwood, fruit, meat, and maybe fertilizer. It just hurts so much to import fertilizer, man. It's not the way. So we're going to import fertilizer, meat, hardwood, and I forgot the last one. Glass? Grain probably is okay, and so we will import grain as well from them. It's not the best, but it is okay. And then we will also put in a couple import routes for grain just kind of naturally. We don't want our queue creating it. Same for fabric, and this will help out a bit. We will check in on dyes as well. Not much going on there, not much going on there. And I think that, you know, we can check the other agricultural goods, but for the most part, the heuristic, we want to import agricultural goods. We might look to try and pull Hungary and Poland into the market as well. This would be super nice, but the really important ones are going to be all the HRE members, because then they will be our subjects for when we do the thing. And as you can see, we are really close to getting centralizing the empire done. We have gotten all the Scandi countries, or all the Scandi guys out of their market and into ours, and we just have 3 holdouts in the Burgundian market, and they are here, and we are bankrolling all of them and looking to get them in. And as you can see, the value of their existing... Well, why is their customs union valuable? It shouldn't be, because they have no market access to it, but we are just continuing on. Now, we do have this play as well against Kebab. They are very likely to back down, and we get state religion. Super big, nice. But we are going for this, Hejaz, because, again, we have a couple more of these 5k minting, which is going to be super big nice. It does have increased interest group for Catholic, but for this run, for what we're doing, that's actually useful. Normally it's not that useful. Oh man, the last 2 times I've done this, we haven't had enough time, so I think to go for another thing. I think we're going to try and see if we can make a legitimate government. Yeah, let's do this, and then let's go for... I think colonial affairs, colonial exploitation will be nice. We could also go laissez-faire, but we've already clicked colonial affairs, so we'll go for this law for now. And so hopefully this shakes out okay. Expecting to see Kebab back down though. So in order to kind of get stuff built in Pomerania, of which we're having trouble and we need stuff there, we're putting down violent suppression to deal with the effects of turmoil, which are going to be big negative, which are giving us minus construction efficiency. But that combined with our law enforcement should speed this up considerably. We will also look to fully expand the ports out here because we are having convoy problems, and Kebabi didn't back down. They ain't gonna back down for nobody, and so because they didn't back down, we are gonna have a little bit of trouble with them. We are gonna try and do a little cheeky sneaky landing on their capital while they have troops engaged here, not expecting to see it work, but if it does work, it will end this war a lot quicker than it otherwise would, which will be pretty nice if we can get that in. But otherwise it's just gonna be, you know, landing, re-landing, these types of things. So we didn't get it the first time, but we did end up the second time getting the landing on the cap here, so things are in an excellent shape. Also, almost done getting everyone into the market here. We just do have the only holdout here in Bavaria, so hopefully we'll be able to get them too. So we see that the dual monarchy is willing to accept an alliance with us if we give them an obligation, and we can just look to constantly keep them at war, which will be nice. Every time we've watched them though, they've broken apart, so maybe we sit on it. They have a truce that's up with 34 months with Burgundy, but Burgundy is going to be who we need to fight in order to, you know, form the HRE here. And so that is kind of what we are looking at maybe doing, kind of considering. I think we're going to leave it on the table for now, but this might be something that we return to. Also almost about to pass colonial exploitation. No, just kidding, not lucky. So we just enforced on kebab, and we are making a ton of money, so we just added a ton of construction centers here, moving up from, I think we're at 80 to like 120-ish, and we're still making money here. We could probably take a pause. Intelligentsia have a demand. We're fine with them gaining political strength, so we'll of course acquiesce, and we'll probably add more construction. Kind of content to float this extra authority as well. Not too much is extremely useful we can use with it, and it will help us pass laws a little bit faster. We kind of have all the good consumption taxes already, and so yeah, we will kind of be doing this, but I just wanted to take a brief talk about our economy, what we're doing here. What we are doing in terms of the decrees is we are looking to balance both of these decrees and just build Tal and Silesia and Bohemia for the time being, build our resources here, and build our manufacturing here. This is the overall plan, and we are doing the road maintenance not because we need infrastructure, but for the state construction efficiency. So instead of 120, it's effectively 136, right? And what we are doing is we are in particular trying to pull things up to level 21, which is our current economy is of a scale cap, and so we will be doing that. We're going to try and pull the tooling workshops up a little bit more as well, because that is a good that we are exporting a lot of, and we lied when we said we had one holdout. We actually have two. This is the last holdout for finishing centralizing the empire, so we are almost done with the centralizing empire event chain, and so we're probably going to go mechanized workshops, but we will, nationalism not spreading to us anyways, so we will soon be getting that. We can even double check now. I don't think we can change them. Yeah, we can't change them. We can get Syria into our customs union. That's kind of interesting, whom we did release. I think we're going to be okay with that. They also control Palestine, and so we're going to bankroll them. Palestine, which does have yet another one of these minting places, which is really nice. This one's extremely nice with extra authority and influence. This one gives us extra authority as well in Mecca, which is why we have this authority, because everyone knows Mecca's the holy land of the Catholic Church. But this is why we have so much money. We're kind of okay with deficit spending, but we don't absolutely hate, actually, no, we hate not having a lot of construction. We hates it. So we're just going to look to add a couple construction centers even more. Actually, we're just going to max it out because that's nice and clean looking. It's going to be a lot, though. That's going to be expensive. But I think we can afford it. Maybe we can't. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So we can kind of afford this level of construction, it looks like. I don't want to downsize it. So we're just going to leave it, but it might make life a little bit more complicated later. What we see here with Lippe is this is the last holdout. We have an obligation with them currently. Now, we can't invite them now, but I think if we absolve the obligation, then they would be willing to give us the debt. And if we absolve and then take on their debt, then we will have another obligation anyways. It's a measly 71k, so we'll absolve, take on their debt, and then we will change them to the customs union using the obligation we just got. And that is the last Bohemian, or that is the last Burgundian holdout. Ooh, that's awkward. Scandinavia joined Burgundy's market. That's an interesting one. But this finishes out the event chain. So now you see we are now a unification candidate up here, and so has finished this event. I think we can dismiss all this, or it's just telling us everyone supports us. We are going to take a look in who supports us, and if anyone doesn't support us, let's go cultures, nature formation, this one. Anyone who doesn't support us, as you can see almost everyone is, we will want to bankroll for a while. Lippe wants an alliance, we'll say no, but for example, Saxe, this guy, I think this Augsburg is going to be part of Bavaria. So is Salzburg, so we won't bankroll these two, but we see this guy, for example. Oh, he's someone's subject, so he doesn't matter. They always support their overlords, but Baden isn't supporting us, for example, and they are just disinterested in us, so we can bankroll them up to get them to support us, and we will want to do this. I think we still have another 4 years on this event chain, so we're going to try and see if we can get Bavaria into our customs union to like us, to support us. That way we can, get the whole big one going, which will be a lot nicer looking. We also, of course, do have a little bit of problems here. We got this going on. We do have this uprising going on. Nothing too crazy. We should be able to put it down relatively easily, you know, between this and this, and then we will get the minting back on the way, and we could totally afford this much construction because we have got a bunch of minting coming back our way. So we can start the unification play now for the HRE if we wanted, and we'll have to fight Burgundy, Scandinavia, Bavaria, and their 2 subjects, but I think we're going to hold off a little until we get a bigger line of credit, because we are going to need to conscript up, and we don't want to default, and we're kind of in this situation here. I don't think we beat Scandi and these guys just all together. We are making some progress here. We do kind of get an enforcement over here, and so we're just kind of in good shape, and I think we have, we don't have any infamy, so we want to use some of our infamy somewhere. This is a little bit awkward. We're gonna find some sort of war for something somewhere, because I cannot in good conscience not, if you're not using your infamy decay, you're losing it. So we found Lanfang, which seems particularly juicy. This is one single state. It's been consolidated relative to vanilla, but they have 7 gold fields currently, and so this is going to be quite a lot of minting. 3,500 minting just from the gold fields, and eventually they'll swap to gold mines, and they have some decent stuff, and they will give us a native interest in this region. So all that combined seems pretty nice. We are also supporting Holstein against a rebel force, and so we will mobilize a little boyo there to deal with that. And then, you know, we're making decent progress along here towards a dedicated police force, which is going to be like nice in the long term, but not super necessary. They are very unlikely to back down here, but we will be able to kind of enforce on this relatively quickly. I guess we should have used kind of our smaller guys that we were planning on using. Assimilation's useless, so we'll do this. And we've also completed, in particular, mechanized workshops, so we're trying to focus on the tools a little bit more because we increased the demand for tools, so this is going to be nice. We'll take this one. So the demand for tools is up because we are doing the clothing ones. Do we not have any clothing here? Okay. Because we are doing mechanized looms and sewing machines in addition to the mechanized workshops for these. So we are going to be building up to economies of scale max, except the economies of scale throughput max is now 31, which is why, you know, mechanized workshops is just such a strong tech, because in addition to giving you 2 really good PMs, it boosts the economies of scale building cap. And so what we're going to do is, again, focusing these 2 spots, particularly, we are going to build this up to the cap of 31, which is the new cap. We're going to also build up the coal mines a little bit, but iron we have a huge demand for. This is a majority of our economy, by the way. These mines and tools combined, this is 60 buildings right here, plus the logging camps. We haven't pushed the logging camps as much as we should. It's really efficient, but you can see this is where a tremendous amount of our economy comes from. We have a ton of tools, way more than we have like textile mills and other stuff like this, and so this is kind of where we're going and what we're doing. We should have been building logging out here though, so we'll add some of those logging into here, and then of course for all this we will need quite a few railways, so we will get those up and running as well. Hey, it looks like Bavaria might be changing their tune a little bit. They asked us for a trade agreement, which means we can invite them to the customs union, which means they will likely be supporting us in the play now, and they are. So when we form the unification play, we will only have to fight Scandinavia and the peasant revolt, which we are putting down. These guys say, hey, we want a defensive pact. Sure, why not? It doesn't matter anyways, because, well, I guess we should have said no, but it doesn't really matter because the next diplomatic play we're going to be launching here after we pick up Lanfang is going to be, which we are picking up very much so, we're going to be going for the unification play, and we're going to form Giga Bohemia. We'll annex all these guys instantly, and then it will be off to the races to form the HRE, and we might even get dedicated police force in as well before the end of all this. Hungary wants a trade agreement. Well, let's see if we can pull them into the customs union. Everything's coming up big nice. Not quite. We could bankroll them though, if we had some more influence, which we would have if we didn't accept the defensive pact. Okay, Okay, instantly punished. So we get an enforcement here on Landfang, and instantly 5 of the gold fields dry up, which is a little bit annoying, but we are still getting 1k minting from the province, so that is still nice. We don't want to build these gold mines up because we have a ton of turmoil here, but we will incorporate it. The turmoil will kind of go down as on the basis of our law enforcement tech applying, as well as it'll just naturally go down, and then it'll be a little bit less. We'll build those mines out eventually, or the auto queue will take care of it, or it will, like, that's kind of, oop, what is this? No, this is just an internal war. We don't have to worry about that. Internal wars are not a big deal. We will come over, and we are going to click the button now. It's time to click the button. Who is not supporting us? We're just going to double check that it is only subjects that are not supporting us. Augsburg, subject. These guys, I think, are subject, and then these guys are Salzburg, are subject of these guys. So it's all subjects, it looks like. Pretty sure, just double checking. So we're going to launch the unification play, and we're going to have to fight Burgundy and Scandinavia. Oh no, they're so big and strong. Whoever will be confirmed DP. Yeah, that's about right. So confirm the DP, and we will get it in. So however, how will we ever fight these two really big guys? We're just little old Bohemia. Oh, just kidding. We're Giga Chad Bohemia. Look at that, baby. So we will be fighting for the unification here, and we have a lot to clean up, so I'm not going to make you watch me clean up. Notably, we are not going to just reset PMs, which is kind of what we would want to do normally, because if we reset PMs, it'll swap all these barracks that aren't on skirmishes, and then we will have this severe penalty. And so what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to swap over all of our PMs here, and then we're going to also need to recruit a lot of generals, because we have a bunch of generals or places with 0 generals. We'll also probably delete the troops we have in Balkans and Occitania and be off on our way to finish this war and create the HRE. So we have our war all ready to go here. Grand Columbia also joined against us. We didn't put any war goals in on Grand Columbia because we would rather they not mobilize as many troops, even though I think this is fairly winnable. We will just let the war continue along, and we will also designate as the strategic objective Flanders. We're going to be landing there. Why is the game pausing? Not really sure what that's about. But this war should be... What's going on? Why does it keep randomly pausing? But that's a cool anthem. That's right. That's a cool anthem for Bohemia, and we get the war here. And it should be a pretty quick slog through them. We have way bigger and stronger military, and we're more handsome. We don't really have to worry about this much. This is going to come down as time goes on, because we are incorporating these states. We're starting to get access to more tax and this sort of stuff. This is just fake news in terms of how in trouble we are, on the back of that. Hopefully we get dedicated police force at this tick. Okay, well, that's a plus at least, but we should make short work of them. We're actually going to pause, and we are going to put in a few naval invasions here in Flanders with kind of some of our smaller boyos. We did spread them out at the beginning, so everything should be fine on that front, and so we should be able to get in, but we are making progress either way. We are on the capital here in Scandinavia, so we should be enforcing on them pretty quick, and then into Burgundy, and then off and away, and having the HRE all formed up. And we are about to enforce here, but the enforcement won't quite be the HRE, because we do need to form the HRE. Who is this boyo? He's a market liberal. We're going to cover up the story. We like the market liberals, but we do enforce on these guys, and so we get the full unification. So we get all the land. We also lived the Netherlands, and so now we are ready to form the HRE. Unfortunately, we are at war still. We can just white piece these boys. But we have to... Why do we have to say capitulate? I don't think they have a war goal on... Oh, we do accept that war deal. But we do have to deal with the Bornean secession here before we can click the button and form the HRE. So we're going to put that down right quick. Alright, and now it is time to form the HRE. We're currently not involved in a play. We are passing laissez-faire. We got this rev brewing. But let's... To the main event here. We can form the HRE. We have every single territory here. Everybody supports us. We click the button, and now we're the Holy Roman Empire. Big nice. We have a absolutely stacked GDP. We're 11 years into the game. We've been cranking up the growth. We have 300 construction. Feels pretty good. It does feel pretty good. well, they already hate us anyways, so we would probably take that, right? Yeah. They're gonna rev anyways. They're already super mad, but this is a tiny rev. We ain't scared of this. In fact, we can turn down the skirmish infantry, but for now, I think we're gonna call it a run. So this has been kind of how to form the HRE in the Divergences mod as Bohemia. It's very consistent. This is the third time we've done it. We did make a mistake at the opening. We were supposed to release Schleswig Holstein, or make sure to release Holstein. Wow, that is the loudest car I've ever heard. Holy shit. That is so loud. Okay, but the strategy was every single one of these guys that was in Burgundy's market that was like bordering the outside, we went after those guys hard and fast, bankrolling and improving relations immediately to try and get them in so that we could get the interior guys easier. We did not declare a single infamy gaining war other than getting these two states at the very start in this region so as to avoid getting the negative relations, and you know, by making moves, diplo moves, we were able to get every single person in our customs union relatively easily, and now we have, you know, the HRE. We also have Venice in the customs union. That was a little bit nice. And, you know, another big part of, like, I think the strategy is going after these places where they're, you know, giving you 5,500 minting or however much minting. Oh man, it's because we get the 10% throughput from this. Maybe we don't even want to incorporate it. Anyways, we're also getting that another one of these over here, and this is kind of what we're doing. As far as wars go, we also did puppet these guys, I think, or dominion these guys, so we could annex them later and get into here, both for the colonialization as well as the gold that's down here. And so, you know, just kind of overall pretty solid start, I think. If you are interested in the save file, I am going to make it available on the Discord, and then also if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, or anything like that, please feel free to put it in the comments. It does help out. And other than, or actually not other than that, and let's just take a quick look for those who are interested in looking at GDP comparisons. The only people ahead of us are Jing and Xing, who just have it all from sub farms, and then next up is Dual Monarchy, which kind of didn't shit the bed too much. You know, they're in relatively okay shape. And then, you know, the Mughal Empire and Japan, Burgundy's like out. Scandinavia, I don't even see Scandinavia on here. Well, that's probably why. But yeah, overall, just in very good shape. What's our pop look like after this? Pretty solid here. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I already said that once. And then, other than that, have a good day.